Hello students, welcome to Study Life. We are learning the chapter Chemical Equilibrium, and this video will understand what is actually equilibrium. Now the very first important thing which we have to remember for any equilibrium reaction is that only and only reversible reactions can show equilibrium. Irreversible reactions will never show equilibrium. Equilibrium is only seen in case of reversible reactions. Now let us understand how the equilibrium point is achieved and what is actually equilibrium. For understanding, again let us consider one equation. Let's say we have any equation A plus B, reversible representation gives C plus D. Now let us consider 3 points. Let's say at t equal to 0, at t is equal to 0. T equal to 0, it simply means that the reaction has just started. Whenever the reaction is just starting, it simply means that maximum almost 99 to 100% all we have is nothing but the reactants only. The formation of product is 0. So always at t equal to 0, the rate of forward reaction, RF represents rate of forward reaction. This rate of forward reaction will be maximum, and at that same particular point, that is at t equal to 0, the rate of backward reaction, RB represents rate of backward reaction, will be 0. The rate will be 0. The simple reason is that because there is no product only. Since there is no product, then no backward reaction will take place, and since there is no backward reaction which is taking place, RB, that is rate of backward reaction, will be equal to 0. Now let's say at some point t, where t is greater than 0. Now the reaction has started. A and B reactants are reacting together to give C plus D, which is nothing but the product. Now since this is a reversible reaction and the formation of product has also taken place, so now the backward reaction will also start taking place, and what will happen is at t equal to t, slowly and slowly the rate of forward reaction will start to decrease, and at that same particular point the rate of backward reaction will start to increase, because now slowly the formation of product has taken place and slowly the backward reaction has taken place, and therefore there will be some rate of backward reaction. Now at last we can consider a point, let's say that is nothing but TEQ. Okay? This is the point TEQ at which the rate of forward reaction will become equal to backward reaction. At such point, we say that equilibrium has been reached. This TEQ represents the equilibrium time. We can clearly see that at t equal to t, rate of forward reaction is decreasing, rate of backward reaction is increasing, and slowly a point will come at which the forward reaction rate and the backward reaction rate will become equal, and that point at which the rate of forward reaction becomes equal to rate of backward reaction, that point is nothing but called as the equilibrium point. That is nothing but the equilibrium point. Formally, we can say that for any reversible reaction, again as I said, equilibrium will only be and only seen in case of reversible reaction. Irreversible reactions will never show equilibrium. So in a reversible reaction, the point at which and after also. Now this is also an important point, which and after. It simply means that once the equilibrium has been achieved, after that also the rate of forward reaction will be equal to rate of backward reaction. It does not mean that once the equilibrium point has been achieved, then after that also the rate will start to increase and decrease. It is not that case. Once the equilibrium point has been achieved in case of a reversible reaction, at that point and after that point, we can say after TEQ, will have TEQ plus 1 time. At that time also the rate of forward reaction will be equal to rate of backward reaction, and we'll say equilibrium has been achieved. But again one important point which we'll be studying more detail in the upcoming videos is that if we alter conditions, what conditions also we'll be studying, if the conditions are altered after reaching equilibrium, then definitely the equilibrium is going to get disturbed. So it does not mean that once the equilibrium point has been achieved and if we alter the conditions then also the equilibrium point will be maintained. No, it's not that case. The equilibrium point will definitely be altered. So these were the concepts and the introduction to actual equilibrium. In the upcoming videos, we'll be learning more concepts based on chemical equilibrium. So there are two types of reactions which we'll be studying. The very first type of reaction is nothing but the irreversible reactions. Irreversible reactions. Now, always in case of irreversible reaction, the very first point, or let's say first, let's write the example first. So let's say we have any reaction A plus B gives C plus D. Here A and B are nothing but called as the reactants. These are called as the reactants, and C plus D is nothing but called as the products. And the very foremost point with respect to any irreversible reaction is that always all the irreversible reactions will convert into product, or you can also say in another words that the reactions will only proceed in single direction, and always in case of irreversible reaction, it is always represented with this single arrow. The single arrow simply represents that A and B reactant will react with each other, and after the reaction of A and B, what we'll get is nothing but C and D. So next point we can say represented by this single arrow. Now, there are some another important points with respect to irreversible reaction, and that points we have to remember for any kind of theoretical questions which is asked in any kind of exam. Next important point with respect to irreversible reaction which we have to remember is that always in case of irreversible reactions, the role of limiting reagent is seen. The role of limiting reagent is seen. The presence of limiting reagent will definitely affect the reaction and the behavior of the reaction. And this particular reactions, as I said, will always proceed in one direction. That is, we can also say the reactions will reach completion point. At one point, the reaction will definitely be completed. It will reach completion point. One more point with respect to irreversible reactions is that maximum type of irreversible reactions will always take place in open container, because it is necessary to remove the product. If the product is not removed, then there is a possibility that the product itself will react once again and it will proceed to the reactant side, which we do not want in case of irreversible reaction. Hence, they have to be carried out in open containers. If we talk about some examples with respect to irreversible reaction, all combustible reactions are nothing but examples of irreversible reaction. We cannot reverse the combustible product into the reactants. Once again, all PPT reactions where precipitate formation is taking place, that type of reactions will also be considered under irreversible reactions, as well as reactions of strong acid with strong base, that is also nothing but classified under irreversible reactions. So this was the introduction with respect to the irreversible reaction and some important points, or also you can say the characteristics with respect to irreversible reaction, a second type of reaction which will be studied in greater detail in this particular chapter. So the second type of reaction which we have is nothing but called as the reversible reaction. That is called as a reversible reaction. Now, before understanding what is reversible reaction and properties or characteristics with respect to reversible reaction. Let us write an example. So let's say we have any reaction A plus B gives C plus D. Now the very first thing which we have to note over here is that if you look at the arrow by which a reversible reaction is represented, and in the previous video we saw the arrow by which irreversible reaction is represented, both are completely different. This arrow indicates that this particular reactions or any reaction which we are categorizing as a reversible reaction can proceed in both the directions, can proceed in both directions. Now, which are the two directions, that also we have to understand, which we'll be continuously using in this particular chapter. So, the two directions are forward direction. So, if I am saying that a reaction is proceeding in forward direction, it means that the reaction is proceeding from A plus B to C plus D. This is nothing but the forward direction of the reaction, and this is not only with respect to this particular reaction. In whole chapter, whenever the reaction will proceed from left hand side to right hand side, we will always say the reaction is proceeding in the forward direction, and the another direction which we consider is the backward direction. And in case of backward direction, the reaction will proceed from C plus D to A plus B. Whenever the reaction will proceed from right hand side to the left hand side, we'll always say the reaction is proceeding in backward direction. And in case of a reversible reaction, the reaction will always proceed in both the direction, that is in forward direction also as well as in backward direction also. Now again, let us understand some more properties with respect to reversible reactions. The second property which we can categorize with respect to a reversible reaction is that no role of limiting reagent is seen. No role of limiting reagent is seen, because the reaction will be continuously going in the forward direction as well as coming in the backward direction. Hence, the role of limiting reagent will not be seen. Next, this particular reactions will always take place in a closed container. In the previous video, we saw that irreversible reactions will take place in open container because it is necessary to remove the product in case of irreversible reactions. But in case of reversible reactions, the product has to remain in the reaction container so that the reaction can proceed in the backward direction, that is from right hand side to left hand side. So this particular reaction will take place in closed container, and this particular reactions will always be represented by this particular symbol. If you are using a single arrow, then it cannot be a reversible reaction. If single arrow is used, then it will be a irreversible reaction. So this type of reactions are always represented by this particular arrow symbol. And if we talk about some examples, then first example we can say a very famous equation or a very famous process, which is nothing but the Haber's process. In Haber's process, the reaction which we have is a reversible reaction between nitrogen and hydrogen, and of course the product ammonia gas. So nitrogen, that is N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3, and this particular reaction is nothing but a reversible reaction. It can proceed in both the direction, that is forward direction as well as in backward direction. And one more important point with respect to irreversible reactions is that this particular type of reaction will never reach completion. Will never reach completion point. In the previous video, we saw that irreversible reactions always reach completion point, but irreversible reactions will never reach completion point. They will always be continuously going in forward direction and then in the backward direction. So these were the concepts with respect to irreversible reactions. The very first type of equilibrium which we have is nothing but called as the physical equilibrium. Physical equilibrium. Now, this physical equilibrium is always present when a physical process is taking place. When a physical process is taking place. This physical process can be a phase change. We can say, we will write the examples also. It can be seen during phase change reactions. It can also be seen during allotropic changes. Allotropy changes. Let's see the example. For physical change, we can take the most simplest example for understanding physical equilibrium. The example which we can take is simply, for example, H2O in solid is in equilibrium with H2O in liquid. We can consider this reaction under physical equilibrium because here H2O in solid is getting converted into H2O in liquid. Both of them are the same compounds only, but the phase is completely different. One is in solid and one is in liquid. Then we can take, for allotropy change, we can say carbon in diamond form. Diamond is an allotrope of carbon, is in equilibrium with carbon in graphite form, where graphite is nothing but the allotropic form of carbon. During this change also, when carbon in the form of diamond is converted into carbon in form of graphite, then also the change is nothing but a physical equilibrium condition change. So this was the physical equilibrium, which won't be studied in much detail in this particular chapter. The most detailed type of equilibrium which will be studied in this chapter is nothing but the chemical equilibrium. Chemical equilibrium. Now this chemical equilibrium is always established during a chemical reaction. Established during a chemical reaction. We can take some examples, and we have also seen the conditions in the previous video. Some examples which we can take is during the Haber's process, that is N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. This is an example of equilibrium reaction. More specifically, it is an example of chemical equilibrium for Haber's process. Another example which we can take is H2 plus I2 in equilibrium with 2HI. This is also a reversible reaction. More specifically, it is showing chemical equilibrium. Another example which we can take is, let's say we have PCl5, which is in equilibrium with PCl3 plus Cl2. This is also an example of chemical equilibrium. And this particular chapter will be dealing maximum with respect to chemical equilibrium and the reactions which are associated with respect to chemical equilibrium. Now, let's say we have this first graph which is plotted for rate versus time. This above line represents the graph for rate of forward reaction, and this bottom line represents graph for backward reaction. Now, in the previous video, we have learned that always at equilibrium point, one very important condition is seen, that is the condition is rate of forward reaction is always equal to rate of backward reaction. This is nothing but the condition for equilibrium. Now, if we look at the first graph, we can clearly see that there is no point at which both the graphs, that is the rate of forward reaction, is becoming equal to rate of backward reaction. So this particular graph which is given for rate versus time, where RF represents rate of forward reaction and RB represents rate of backward reaction, this particular graph does not represent any equilibrium. No equilibrium is seen with the help of this particular graph. This is not a graph for equilibrium. Let us understand this graph also. Again, in this graph, if we look at the upper part, this upper region is nothing but, let's say this is for forward reaction, and the bottom line is for the backward reaction. Let's say we draw this over here. This is for backward reaction. Again, we can see that at one particular point, that is at this point, the rate is becoming equal. But again, in the previous video, I have said that it is not necessary that once the equilibrium point has been reached, then the rates will start to increase and decrease. That's not the case. Once the equilibrium point has been achieved, at that point also and after that point also, the rate will be constant. That is, rate of forward reaction will be equal to rate of backward reaction. In this reaction, since the rate is again increasing and decreasing. Once it has been equal, after that also it is increasing and decreasing. Hence we'll say that this particular graph also does not represent equilibrium. Now, which type of graphs and how the graph will look for equilibrium we'll be looking at in the upcoming video. Now let us understand this graph first. So in this graph, again the graph is plotted for rate versus time. This upper particular line represents rate of forward reaction, and this particular line, bottom line, represents rate of backward reaction. Now you can clearly see that at this particular point, that is at this particular point, the rate of forward reaction has become equal to rate of backward reaction, and that is also the important case for equilibrium. In the previous video, we have already learned that for equilibrium, in case of any irreversible reaction, the rate of forward reaction must be equal to rate of backward reaction. One more important point which we had learned is that at equilibrium point and after equilibrium point, at both the conditions, at and after equilibrium point, then also the rate of forward reaction should be equal to rate of backward reaction, and that condition and this condition is clearly seen in this particular graph. We can clearly see that after the red point where the rate of forward reaction becomes equal to rate of backward reaction, after that also there is a constant rate where the rate of forward reaction is equal to backward reaction. And this particular point or this particular equilibrium is nothing but called as dynamic equilibrium. That is called as dynamic equilibrium. So this is the actual graph for rate versus time for any equilibrium reaction. This particular characteristics are very important to understand the whole chapter in an exact conceptual way, as well as many times theoretical MCQs are asked based on the characteristics of equilibrium. Now, the very first characteristic with respect to any equilibrium reaction, which is a very important point also, that any equilibrium reaction can start from any direction. Now, what does this particular sentence indicate? Let us understand this. Let's say we have an example of a reaction A plus B equilibrium C plus D. It can start from any direction. It means that, for example, at t equal to 0, the reaction can start from A plus B and can proceed towards C plus D. That is, small a moles of A will be present, small b moles of B will be present. Initially at t equal to 0, no moles of C will be present, no moles of D will be present. We can say that this is nothing but starting in the forward direction. Whenever the reaction proceeds from left hand side to right hand side, always it is the forward direction. Now, this reaction can also start from C plus D. So let's say again at t equal to 0, we have small c moles of C and small d moles of D, and at that particular point A and B will have 0 moles because the reaction is just started, and now C plus D is the initial point where maximum amount of substance will be nothing but C and D, and A plus B will be 0. Whenever the reaction will start from right hand side to left hand side, we say that the reaction has started in the backward direction. So this is a very important point with respect to any equilibrium reaction, that it can start from any direction. It can go from left to right, that is in forward direction, and can come from backward side also, that is from C plus D to A plus B. Next important characteristic with respect to any chemical equilibrium or any equilibrium is that it is dynamic in nature. It is dynamic in nature. Dynamic in nature, it simply means that once the equilibrium point has been achieved, it does not mean that the reaction will be 100% stopped. The reaction will continuously go to and fro. It will go from A plus B to C plus D, and the reaction will come from C plus D to A plus B. That is, it is dynamic in nature and not static in nature. Next important point with respect to characteristic of equilibrium is that the role of catalyst is only to reduce the time to reach equilibrium, and it will not affect the equilibrium point. It simply means that if we add a catalyst at equilibrium point, that equilibrium point will not change for a particular reaction, that point will remain same only, but definitely the addition of catalyst is going to help, that is by reducing the time required to reach that particular equilibrium point. Next, some more properties or characteristics, which we have one characteristic which we have previously seen also, that is at equilibrium always the rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction, not only at the point of equilibrium but also after the equilibrium point has been reached also. After that also the rate will become equal and will be equal. If the rate is not equal after the equilibrium point, whether there is an increase or whether there is a decrease, we say the equilibrium point has been lost. Also, the concentrations, or in general we can say the measurable properties, what are the measurable properties? That also we can write. Measurable properties are concentration, temperature, pressure, volume. We'll also have number of moles. All these are the measurable properties which we can measure. All these measurable properties will not change once the equilibrium point has been achieved. Once the equilibrium point has been achieved. Next, and one important point, that is always for equilibrium reactions. For equilibrium reactions, delta G is always equal to 0. That is, the change in Gibbs energy is equal to 0 for any equilibrium reaction. Again, this is also asked many times in many types of exams. So, these were the characteristics with respect to chemical equilibrium and equilibrium. For further concepts based on the chapter chemical equilibrium, stay tuned with Study Life. Thank you.